Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Rehab Christian Center Sunday morning virtual experience. I am Dr. Zeb, and it's good to be with you this morning, and certainly praying that everything is well with you, your family, and everything concerning you. And it is good to be here. Listen, this is the last Ask Me Anything of 2021. Can y'all believe we are almost at the end of the year? Is anybody else kind of just floored by that alone? This has been a year. It has been a year, I will say that. But not only that, it has gone by incredibly fast. And I really cannot believe that we are almost mid-October with about 2 more months left in this year. And it's insanity, just insanity to me. Time is really flying by fast. But it is good to be here, and certainly praying that you've had a fantastic week and that everything is well with you. And I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be here again for Ask Me Anything. You know how this goes. We do this. We have been doing this for years now, and have even been doing it in the virtual format. And one of the pieces of feedback that I received this week, because I've been doing quite a few lives this week, more than I've done probably in some time. One of the pieces of feedback that I have received this week is just about how candid our conversations are, and really how candid our ministry is as it relates to being willing to discuss topics that people don't want to deal with. And that is in essence the nature of rehab. We love to deal with and get in the mix and talk about stuff folks won't talk about, because that's where growth is. And so I'm excited to be here today. This is going to be a lot of fun. And so I've got some instructions and I've got to share with you. We'll get to all of that in a second. But for now, start liking this video, sharing this video, tell everybody to tune in. We're excited to be here and excited to be a part of this awesome experience this morning, and grateful that you've tuned in. If you are chiming in, regardless of the network that you're on, make sure you say good morning in the chat area. Go ahead and start sharing this video if you have not already, and let everybody know that you're on. And I'm excited to get this going. Now, don't y'all get shy this morning. Don't act like you don't want to ask no questions this morning, or else it's going to be a fast broadcast and we're going to go. So don't get shy now. But I want you to be thinking about your questions. We'll be sharing the instructions on how you can submit your questions in just a second. But I'm just excited to be here and excited to have you all with us on this awesome Sunday morning. It is my baby girl's birthday. She is 9 today. And I'm just shocked that I got a 9-year-old. That is just a shock in and of and by itself. But a happy birthday, Giselle, if you're watching, and Daddy will catch up with you real soon. But listen, I love you guys. I'm excited to be here and grateful to be here one more time. Let's go through the networks. Facebook, good morning to you. It's good to see you virtually. Those of you that are tuned in via Facebook, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're tuned in via Facebook, if you're on Facebook, I want you to hit that like button, hold it down to a love button. I want you to hit that share button. I want you to tag 5 people and tell them to tune in this morning. I'm grateful to be here. I need you to tag 5 people. Now I want you to be specific this morning, not Pacific. I saw the most hilarious video on that yesterday. Not Pacific. I want you to be specific this morning and tag 5 people that you know might have a burning question that they've never heard answered or addressed in church. I want you to tag them now. This is going to be a riot today. I just got a feeling. And so I need you to tag 5 of your friends that have ever wanted a spiritual answer, a biblical answer, or forget all that, just a real answer to some of life's questions. And they never had the courage to ask it in church. I want you to tag 5 of them today and tell them to tune in, because this is going to be good. And we want them to jump on. All right. So good morning, Facebook. It is good to be with you virtually. And again, thank you so much for tuning in. Instagram, good morning to you. Good to see you virtually. Instagram going to be here about 9:30. We all know that. That's the running joke. But for those of you that are tuned in on Instagram, good morning to you. Thank you so much for tuning in and for being with us. If you're on Instagram, fill it up with hearts. Let us know you're there. Of course, say good morning in the chat area. And then if you're on Instagram, I need you to start tagging people now. Start tagging all your friends, especially, again, those friends that have ever had questions that they want answers to, spiritual answers to. And it does not matter what the question is. I don't care what it is. We're going to read that question. We're going to answer that question And so Instagram, I need you to start tagging people now. Tell them to get up out the bed and tell them to tune in right away so that we can get going. I want to answer questions for at least about 45 minutes today if I can, somehow, some way. But hopefully you all will bombard me with questions. I am ready to answer them. And I'm just grateful to be here. I know it looks like I'm multitasking. I am. I'm doing like 5 different things at once, trying to make sure everything is set up here. But I'm grateful to be here and just excited to be here. So good morning, Instagram. Thank you for tuning in. YouTube, those of you that are tuned in via YouTube, good morning to you. It is good to see you virtually this morning. If you are here via YouTube, good to see you virtually this morning. Do me a favor. If you're on YouTube, I want you to like this video. I want you to like this broadcast. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you can do that by subscribing at the Rehab CC. That's at the Rehab CC, and that's on YouTube. You can do that now, and make sure you subscribe to our channel. You can go back and watch all of our a replay of all of our messages, and they're all right there. And we know that they would be a blessing to you. And so make sure you do that. If you're on YouTube also, let me say this. If you're also on YouTube, make sure you go back and take a look at some of our series. We've got a lot of great series on our YouTube channel. Again, all of our messages are Rolodex there. So you can always go back and visit those messages and check them out. But thank you so much for tuning in on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel, hit that little bell notification so that you can receive notifications every time we go live, and then hit that share button and share it. Email it to somebody, send it to somebody's social media, tell them to tune in this morning. We are excited to be here. That's right, Nick. Tell them to get up, because I know Instagram is the late church. Instagram is that group of people that walk in right at the last, when the choir, the praise him, whoever's doing the last song, right before the preacher get up. That's the Instagram church. They gonna get there about 45 minutes after church starts. So Instagram folks gotta get up quickly because this is about to be fun, and I'm excited to be here. Again, like this video, share this video, start subscribing now. Let me just go ahead and put up on the screen now the instructions. If you have a question for Ask Me Anything, submit your question to info@rehabcc.org. Submit your question to info@rehabcc.org. And this is very important. In the subject line, make the subject line Ask Me Anything. All right. Make the subject line Ask Me Anything. Submit your question to info@rehabcc.org and let the subject line be Ask Me Anything. All right. Ask Me Anything. That's important, so that email can be routed to me. Again, I want you to email your question to info@rehabcc.org. We're getting ready to do declaration, but I want to go ahead and start putting the instructions out there now. So as we're doing declaration, you can be thinking about your question or questions. You can submit as many as you want, but you can submit your question by emailing it to info@rehabcc.org. The subject line has to be Ask Me Anything. All right. That's important, so that it is routed to me so that I can see it. All right. Ask Me Anything. Email your question to info@rehabcc.org. Subject line Ask Me Anything. I'm going to ask the moderators on all of our channels, if you would, of course, to put that up. Thank you, Elder Misty. And also going to ask the moderators, when I read the questions, to, as best as possible, paraphrase the questions. Sometimes the questions can get a little long-winded, and so I'm not going to work y'all to death, but at least try to paraphrase the question so people can kind of see what was asked regardless of the network. All right. So those are the instructions. I'll put the instructions back up in a second. Let's get to the declaration. I'm excited to do the declaration again this morning. If this is your first time tuning into Rehab, whether this is live or you are watching the replay, every single Sunday, we go through our declaration. People ask, what does rehab mean? And it really represents the 5 tenets of our ministry: restore, evangelize, hope, alternatives, and breakthrough. And we repeat this every single Sunday. Why? Because it is important that you monitor and manage and maintain what you speak. The power of life and death is indeed in the words you speak and the emotions and the feelings behind those words. And so we're going to go through the declaration this morning. We're excited to have you with us, and we want you to stop what you're doing and repeat this declaration with us. Whatever you're doing, repeat this with us. so that we can help set the tone for our unique worship this morning and get right into it. All right. So say the declaration with me. Repeat after me. Restore. We declare that everything that is broken, lost, hurt, or destroyed that belongs to us and has been designed by God is restored. My faith is restored. My joy is restored. My mind is restored. Even my lost time is restored. I am no longer broken. The fact that I'm alive means I have another chance. My faith has restored me, and right now, his love is making me whole. Evangelize. Say it with me. We declare that God helped us so we can help somebody else. He loved me when I was unlovable. He changed me when I was a mess. His love lifted me when I was down. I am not perfect, but I'm free. And anything that came for me can't keep me. Because I'm free, my circle is next. My family is saved. My friends are blessed. My plans are successful. My goals are ahead of schedule. And anything connected to me is blessed just like me. Hope. Come on, say it with me. We declare that everything that is missing is not lost. In Jesus, I have hope. And this hope makes me confident. It does not matter what happens to me or around me. I'm going to win. My relationships are winning. My goals are winning. My family is winning. My neighbor is winning. This city will win, and my row has the victory. My past is defeated, and my future is brighter today than it was yesterday. Alternatives. Say it with me. We declare that God made us different. I'm a royal child, the light of the world, and the hope of my city. I respect the past, but I don't look like what I've been through. I love the church, and my life is balanced. I love coming to church, but I like flights, boats, and vacations. My whole life is blessed. I am the head and not the tail. I am above and not beneath. I am a lender, not a borrower. And every place I go belongs to me. Breakthrough. Say it with me. We declare that God has a breakthrough with our name on it. I have some challenges, but I am not defeated. No weapon formed against me can prosper. And I know that all things are working for my good. Things are not breaking down. They are about to break through. There is a breakthrough in my career. There is a breakthrough in my home. There is a breakthrough in my health. There is a breakthrough in my finances. I am here on purpose, for a purpose, and everything that went wrong is getting ready to turn around. Did you repeat that declaration with us today? If you did, you already know what's coming. I want you to type in the comments right now, it's already done. Come on, quickly. It's already done. It's already done. You've got to know that everything you have declared, your elder Misty's on fire this morning. Everything that you have declared in this declaration, everything that you have declared concerning your life in general, God's already moving that in motion. I want you to put it in the comments now and type it like you mean it. It's already done. It's already done. God's making a way. God's opening a door. God's meeting a need. God's providing in a way that only He can. And I want you to be encouraged to know that today. It's already done. It's already done. God's moving on your behalf. God's fixing things on your behalf. And I want you to be excited to know it today. On this Ask Me Anything Super Sunday, it's already done. God's working some things out. And I'm going to tell you, like I told a coaching client on Thursday, your job ain't to worry about the future. Your job is to bask in the present and let the future take care of itself. God's already worked that out for you. He's already managed that out for you. He's already worked out the kinks for you. And your job is just to be excited about where you are now until everything you prayed for, everything you fasted for, everything you've hoped for, everything you've desired for comes to pass in your life. It's already done. Come on, type it quickly. If you have not already, type it quickly. It's already done. It's already done. God's making a way. God's opening doors. God's meeting needs as only He can. Listen, if you have not submitted your question, because I see questions running in, and some of y'all are going to try to start some problems today. I can already see it coming. But this is going to be fun. If you have not submitted your question already for Ask Me Anything, I want you to type it or send in your question. Do not put it in the comments because I may not be able to see the comments. I'm monitoring a lot today to try to be able to get through them. But email your question. You can submit your question by emailing it to info@rehabcc.org. Subject line, Ask Me Anything. Now, probably about 5 or 6 years ago, I can't remember. Maybe, no, take that back. Maybe about 4 years ago, we started something at Rehab where literally once a quarter, I would take a Sunday, not even preach. We were face to face, and we would pass the basket around and note cards, and people could just drop in the basket, or when they came up and brought their offering, they could just drop in the basket a note card with their question. And I would take that Sunday, and instead of preaching, I would just answer your questions. And it didn't matter what the questions were. And I really miss doing this live because we really would have just some great, phenomenal questions. I think many of you get a little nervous with emailing your questions. But again, I don't reveal who asked the question, none of that stuff. And the reason why we want you to send it to the info account is so that it can be funneled from there. All right. And so again, I want you to email your question. If you've got a question that you want me to ask today, all I'm going to do is answer your questions. I don't care what it's about: relationships, church stuff, love, sexuality, your jobs, your careers, family stuff, family matters, habits. I don't care what it is. Preferences. I don't care. You can email your question, and I'm going to take the next 45 minutes, and I'm going to answer every single question that I can, and answer as many questions that come through as I possibly can, and just monitoring them now to see what is coming through. And we're going to answer your questions. And again, we won't reveal your name, but want you to submit that. So again, start liking this video, sharing this video, tag people, tell them to get up quickly, because this is always a blessed broadcast. And again, I'm going to ask the moderators that as the questions come through, I'll read the questions. I tend to read them to myself first, and then I will read the questions out loud, try to summarize those questions so people can see what we're answering, and then we will go from there. But again, if you've got a question that you want me to answer on the broadcast today, it does not matter what the question is. You can ask me anything. It's a powerful concept. One of the challenges with church, and one of the reasons why people get so frustrated with church, and again, this is just feedback that we heard, especially after our live on Monday, where we talked about just really the future of the church and the perspective that we have. So much great feedback about our willingness to address stuff that people don't want to talk about. And that's always been my personal mantra, but it's always been the mantra also of the Rehab Christian Center. So if you've got a question, again, it doesn't matter what it is. I don't care what the question is. We're going to answer the question and try to give you a spiritual, biblical answer, response to that question. And then in many cases, sometimes it's just a practical, candid answer. But either way, it's going to be practical, candid, regardless. And we want to try to answer your question. And so again, you can email your question Like this video, share this video, subscribe to our channel, but you can email your question quickly to info@rehabcc.org. Again, email your question to info@rehabcc.org and put in the subject line, ask me anything. And we will get that email, pull it up, and we'll get started. All right. So I'm going to get into it. I've got 9:29. Let me give you 30 more seconds because I'm starting to see them come in. So let me give you 30 more seconds. We'll start right at 9:30 Eastern on the dot because I want to again roll through this and ask your question. Don't y'all be afraid to ask your question. And of course, the moderation rules still apply or moderation requests still apply. Make sure you're using the notes to record notes as we share things because, again, people will go back and watch the replay. And I found the notes to be very helpful to people that cannot watch it live. So feel free to share your notes in the comments area. There are things that I'll probably tell you to record so that the viewers that will watch it later can see that. Again, email your question to info@rehabcc.org. info@rehabcc.org. This is the last Ask Me Anything of 2021, and I'm excited to do it. All right, let's get into it. Let's roll. I'm ready to go. All right. Question 1. Let me refresh here and start from the bottom. All right. Question number 1. I'm just laughing at this person. How the name that this person calls me is hilarious, but she's a sweetheart. Question number 1. All right. Again, email your question to info@rehabcc.org if you have one. I'm answering questions today. All right. Question 1. Why does the church teach us to be afraid, but then tell us what the word tells us not to fear? This is a construct that I fight to this day, breaking down the walls of fear instilled in me from church. All right, this is a heck of a question. And let me summarize the question. The question in essence is asking, why does the church teach us to be afraid, but then the word says not to fear? Okay. Why does the church teach us to be afraid, but the word then says for us not to be to fear? And her point of this question is that she struggles with this because in many ways, the church has instilled fear in people instead of instilling love, right? So church instills fear. From her perspective, instills fear. The Bible tells us not to fear. So why does the church teach us to be afraid, but the word says not to fear? And I think this is a very easy answer, but it's a heck of a question because it brings to light much of what I talked about Monday. And it's funny, I haven't heard from any of my preacher friends. Like, it's been silence, right? So I'm probably further blackballed, and I'll never be on a convocation flyer probably ever now. And that's great. I got a job. But let me say this. The reason why that's the case is because back in the day, the older days of church, most churches did not preach and teach from the perspective of love. They taught from the perspective of fear because most of the gospel that you heard was a either or kind of gospel, right? It was an either you do this or this happens kind of gospel. Either you do that or this happens kind of gospel. And the easiest example I can give to you of this is the heaven and hell conversation, right? It is either you're going to heaven or hell, right? Which we understand that, but it was the way in which they preached it, where it was live right, you go to heaven, do wrong, you're going to hell. And they spent more time not talking about what you can do to go to heaven. They spent more time talking about the stuff you shouldn't do in order to not go to hell. And it was very much rooted in fear. Let me give you an analogy to explain this to hopefully make it make sense. If you go to the car lot, if you go to the car dealer and you're going to buy a car, all right? Let's say you're going to go, I love Ask Me Anything Sundays because I just get to talk junk. Let's say you're going to go to the car lot and you're going to buy a car and you're in the market to buy a car. And I'm in the market to buy a car. And when I get there, I see the car that I'm interested in. And the dealer comes out And the dealer, instead of telling you, about, the brakes, suspension on the suspension system on the brakes, the Bose system, radio system inside, the touch panel, the miles per gallon that it gets, that's exceptional. The trade value that you would have, all of the positive things that you would get in buying the car. The dealer just comes out and says, well, if you buy this car, it ain't gonna be worth nothing in 2 years. If you buy this car, you're gonna get 10 miles a gallon on a good day. If you buy this car, your insurance is gonna be $300 a month. You buy this car, you're gonna need new tires in 60 days because it's not good on tires. You buy this car, you're gonna spend about $500 in gas because, again, you're only getting 10 miles a gallon. If you buy this car, the AC is going to go out because it's had a bad engine recall. Historically, it's had an engine recall and a transmission recall. If the dealer starts going through everything that's wrong with the car, are you going to buy the car? The answer is no. You're not going to buy the car. And the church has been guilty of this. The church has been guilty of preaching a gospel that is fear-based and only talking about the bad things that'll happen to you if you don't do whatever, instead of approaching the gospel from a base of love. And this is why y'all won't like this. You probably won't like this when I say this, but it's the truth. This is why a lot of people, especially younger people, are fighting to go back to church. They're fighting to be in church. They're fighting to stay in church. Because listen, most of us, Monday through Saturday, Monday through Friday especially, that most of us that work, Monday through Friday, go through enough hell and get beat up enough that the last place we trying to get beat down again every single week is Sunday. Now, let me balance this out because I'm fair. Folks at Rehab will tell you this. There are some Sundays you're going to get a word that ain't going to encourage you, right? There's some Sundays you're going to get a word that's going to beat you down, that's going to wear you out, that's going to find you where you are. And the word should do that. The word should not only encourage, the word should also convict. The word should also correct, right? So let's not, be so to the extreme on any extreme, right? All love, no correction, all correction, no love. You got to find the middle ground. And that's where churches struggle. That's where preachers struggle. That's where pastors struggle because they tend to only give you one side of the pendulum or the other. And the easiest approach to that is to teach it in the middle. The person that asked this question is correct. The Bible says God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of love, first thing he says, but of love, power, sound mind. It is God's desire for you to walk around and live in a spirit of love, not fear, right? And so again, the church in many ways has been erroneous there. You can teach about hell, you can teach about heaven and do it in a way that it does not instill fear in people, right? It doesn't instill fear in people, but it is very truthful about the realities of heaven and hell. And that's a message that I've taught and preached several times. But I remember, and y'all might not remember this, shouldn't it correct in love? The Bible says, absolutely, you should correct in love without a doubt. Again, and that just goes back to the point. Where the church tends to mess up is we tend to go to one extreme or the other. And let me give you another example of this. This is so funny. I hope my dad is on the line because he probably remembers this, boy. Scared the life out of me. I remember, he probably knows the example I'm about to bring up. I think we were probably, I don't know, maybe I might have been 10 or 11. This was a very long time ago. Might have been 10 or 11. And we were in my dad's old church, the old church before, he built his new one. And small church, it was a winter because I remember specifically wearing a coat during this time. It was a winter and it was during Bible study and Dad had this older white gentleman come. I don't remember the guy's name. I can see his face vividly. And I'm talking about I was 10 when this happened. This goes to show you the power of fear. I'm gonna describe you the power of fear. And You know, dad had this guy come in, and this guy brought on an old disc reel. He brought on an old disc reel, a movie called Burning in Hell. Has anybody on the live seen the movie Burning in Hell? Now, I'm going to tell you, we're sitting there. This guy brings in the movie called Burning in Hell. And there was a guy who was riding a motorcycle. If you ever seen Burning in Hell, please say something in the comment. I know I'm not the only person that's seen this. Mom, there go mama. I remember this like yesterday, I swear. There was a guy, the movie comes on, and there was a guy who's riding a motorcycle. I got to hurry up with this question. More questions are rolling in. I'm going to hurry up. I'm getting long-winded. He's riding a motorcycle, and he has an accident, right? The guy has an accident, and he dies, and he goes to hell. And when he goes, this person, yeah, it looked like I might be the only one who's seen this movie. I'm telling you, this movie scared the life out of us. He goes to hell. When he goes to hell, there's this person is obviously dressed up like the devil, and there's fire everywhere, and the people down there, worms coming out of his skin. And so as a 10-year-old, I'm scared out of my mind. Like when this movie was over, we was all on the altar crying. Because like we didn't want no parts of that, right? But here's the problem. While that movie might have been effective in getting an emotion out of you to pull out the realities of hell, it wasn't enough to keep me from growing up and doing stuff that I did. Here's the larger point that I want to bring to you. Fear will never change your behavior. Love will. Come on. That's probably a bullet point that's worth typing in. Fear will never change your behavior. Love always will. Fear might get you a whooping. Fear might get you prison time. Fear might cause people to cut you off. But fear will never change your behavior. Love will change your behavior. And here's the thing. It may take love longer. It may take love longer. It may take longer for love to stick to the point where people are convicted to change their behavior. But fear will never do it. And use your kids for an example. You can beat your kids till they turn blue in the face. But here's the reality. At a certain point, the only way you're going to be able to get through to them to where they can change their behavior, you have to talk to them. You have to explain to them what they did and why what they did is wrong and the repercussions of what they did for doing what they do. And then love them while you're going through all of that so that they understand their behavior and they are motivated internally to change. And the church in the old days and many churches today still, unfortunately, still take that approach. And you can see it through the hellfire and brimstone message especially, right? It's hell, 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 hell. Don't do this. You're going to hell, 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 hell. Don't do it. And you sit in church and you hear that and it might scare you for a second. But baby, if you still got habits, a couple of days, that's going to wear off. And I don't know who I'm witnessing to or teaching to, but somebody should be able to relate to what I just said. Yeah, you might cry in church when he or she says that or preaching that or the church is purporting that. But in a couple of days, that's going to wear off and you're going to be right back to doing whatever it is that he or she told you not to do. Because fear won't change your behavior. Love does. So don't ever forget that valuable lesson. I hope I answered that question. Very good question there to get us going. All right. Next question. Oh God, why y'all taunting me? Why y'all taunting me? I feel like y'all taunting me. I feel like y'all taunting me with these questions. Here's a question. This is a very long question, moderators, but again, I'm going to try to summarize as best as possible. Why do we as Black church members worship bishops and pastors, famous or local, that is out here doing everything under the sun and we know it? Worship the ground they walk on, but the real true preachers that is living and preaching the truth gets walked over. Why y'all taunting me today? Again, when I answer the question, because moderators, I don't know how you gonna minimize this one, but this is a mouthful right here, and I'm gonna answer it. Why do we as Black church members worship bishops and pastors, famous or local, that is out here doing everything under the sun, and we know it? We worship the ground they walk on. But real, true preachers that is living, yeah, this is heavy. It's too much to type. Real true preachers that is living and preaching the truth gets walked over. Let me just say this. I want to just say this before I dive into this and start screaming, because this is going to be fun. This stuff gets my juices going. Number one, any preacher, pastor that tells you they are not doing anything is a liar. That's from the jump. That's including the man you looking at. That's any bishop, preacher, pastor, pope, apostle, cardinal, arch. We got archbishops now in the Black church. Different conversation. Because archbishops have never been in the Black church. We are not Roman Catholics. But I'm going to leave that alone before I get more hate mail. We got all kinds of titles in the Black church. And I'm going to get to titles in a second. There's just so much in this I got to unpack. But let me just start from the start. Never follow or listen to a preacher who says to you they ain't got no challenges. Never trust the word of a preacher or teacher or bishop or whatever title you want to put on, who comes at you from this perspective of not having no problems, no flaws, because you can't trust a single word that comes out of their mouth. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. If you hear that pastor has done something to himself, that's probably a lie. Right? I've had some low seasons, but I ain't never been encouraging that lie. That's probably a lie. Right? If you hear that pastor got locked up for running a pimping ring, pimping women, it might be true. Oh, well, let me stop acting stupid. It's the truth. What's the point? Everybody got problems. Everybody got issues. Everybody has challenges. And what makes a pastor's word authentic and impactful is when they teach it and preach it from that perspective. So let me say that from the start. Y'all stop listening to these folks that's making y'all feel like, that's got y'all feeling like they ain't got no problems, because they lying straight up. And it might not be pimping, but it's something. There goes Sister Hope, mercy. I thought about Sister Hope yesterday. She's mercy. Let me stop acting stupid. It's the truth. All right. So that's number one. Now, why do we as Black church members worship bishops and pastors? Let's go back to, I think you low-key wanted to be a pimp. It might be true. Let's go back to this title thing. Number one, the Black church has too many titles in the first place. Let me just say that. And I'm going to put this out there. And this is going to be controversial. I don't care. I think one of the reasons why you see so many elevated, lofty, non-biblical titles in the Black church is because we struggle with leadership. Everybody want to be a leader. Don't nobody want to be a follower. And it's crazy, because if you look at some other churches, other races, they don't even really call the pastor. They call them words like teacher. Our teacher is brother such and such, right? So they break it down like that, right? Let's say if I was of a different race, it would be like our teacher is brother Zed Tally III. Or if I've got a doctorate, they'll be like, our teacher is Dr. Zed Tally III. But it don't be like everybody stand for our senior bishop, the right reverend, chief apostle, Pope Apostolic, Archbishop, Dr. Zed Tally III. It just be too much. It be too much. And we are so hung up on titles. And the crazy part about this question is, if you really want a title, go join a Black church. I said it. If some of you really want a title, for real, go ahead and join these Black churches. A lot of these black churches, not all of them, let me preface that, because it ain't every black church. Before some of y'all get in your feelings, it ain't every black church. There's a whole lot of black churches out here. If you want a title, if God has led you to do something, to preach, or to just led you to do anything, a lot of these churches out here will gladly give you a title and grace you in that title, put a big cape on your back, and let you be everything that you want to be and more. We love titles. And the challenge, the greatest challenge that I have with that is this. Not only do we do that, Elder Missy is exactly where I'm going. Not only do we love titles, we then take those titles and we put the people on a pedestal above God. So when they fall, or when their video shows up on YouTube, or when their cell phone video shows up on obnoxious, we all get so shocked. Oh my God, Pastor such and such, Bishop, Dr. such and such got caught in a hotel room with a bunch of little boys. And we get so surprised because we have put them on a pedestal and we have honored their title above God. And the reality is, I appreciate when I preach, people stand, when I get up to, that's all nice, fine and dandy. I appreciate that. I get it. You stand for a judge who's going to speak sentences over your life. You stand for a preacher who's going to be speaking life over your life. I get that. I appreciate that. But listen, don't ever put me above God. And this pandemic should have taught y'all this. This pandemic, again, just a repeat of what I said Monday. This pandemic should have taught y'all that church ain't more important than God. Your pastor is not more important than God. I don't care who he or she is. Your pastor ain't more important than God. Your church ain't more important than God. None of them is more important than God. And if you fell out of love with the church, because you couldn't be in the building, you were never in love with God. I'm going to say it again. If you fell out of love with the church or got so frustrated because the church was not open, how dare the church not be open? You felt so and got so mad and angry with the church because it wasn't open. Nah, you was never in love with the church. You was never in love with God in the first place. God is way bigger than the church. God is way bigger than your pastor. And again, I hate to put it to you this way, but half of these raggedy titles that many of these pastors got, especially the black church, that was the question that came, especially in the black church, half of them ain't even qualified for the titles they got. Now, here's some truth for your behind. I wanted to say another word. Here's some truth for your behind. I remember when I started rehab back in 2013, and I had a very well-known local pastor reach out and say, hey, doc, I wasn't even a doc at the time. I was enrolled working on my PhD. Wasn't even a doc. And that's a different conversation for a different day too. Because I said it Monday and I'm going to say it again. Y'all better stop calling folks stuff like doc, like doctor, legit titles, and folk ain't been to school. They went online, bought the degree for $89. They've been in these little Bible colleges that ain't accredited, where you can go for 6 months and they give you a PhD and call you doc. Y'all better stop doing that, because I'm telling you, I have been around, I've been in circles where folk had doctors in their name, and I asked them straight up, what'd you get your doctorate in? I got my doctorate in Christian principles. Christian principles of what? See, that stuff, all of these Archie titles that we have, all of these elevated titles that we have, what it does is it sends a signal to the world. It sends a signal to the world that we don't even take our own development seriously. Rehab knows I'm a proponent of education. I'm an educator, right? I am always talking about to our members, go back to school, go get a degree, go get a certification. But if you're going to do it the right way. Don't come around me with no fake doctorate, because I'm telling you, somebody going to get embarrassed, and it ain't going to be me. So that's part of the problem in Black church. We've got all of these titles, and everybody's the great Reverend Doctor this, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of the people, not all of them, some of them have real doctorates. Some of us have real doctorates. Some of them are bishops, and they have really done the work. I would challenge all of you to read your Bible about the qualifications of a bishop and what it says a bishop should do. Let me tell y'all something. If you out here calling yourself bishop, apostle, all of this stuff, and you barely got one church, you didn't read the Bible. Are y'all there? The comments have stopped. The numbers, are y'all there? You didn't read the Bible. You out here calling yourself elder and minister, and you didn't read them. Something ain't right. Something's not right. And I'm telling you, there are some churches that will gladly make the guy told back to the story. God said, listen, man, come on. I'll make you a bit, join us, I'll make you a bishop. That don't excite me. Number one, I don't even want to be one. Let's set the record forever straight. I don't want to be a bishop. I don't want to be no bit. I barely want to be a pastor. And that's the God's honest truth. And you know what makes my ministry so effective? It's the fact that I really don't want it. I'm going to help y'all. Some of the best preachers, some of the best pastors, some of the best singers is more of a gift, but some of the best preachers, pastors, bishops, folks that I know with these lofty titles are also people who never wanted the call. Because when you really sincerely don't want the call and you have the call, 9.5 times out of 10, it's an authentic call. It's authentic. Listen, you ask my daddy, he might be on the line. When I went to Radford, I did everything I could not to be a preacher. And I ain't kidding you. I did everything I could. I knew the calling was on my life. And when you talk about running, I did everything I could. Why? Because I ain't want no part of this. And a lot of days I still don't want no part of this. And yet this generation of preacher be running to the pulpit. Like we have made preaching almost like being a star. Like you're a celebrity. I'm not no celebrity. I'm a normal dude. Well, I'm not a normal guy, but you get my point. Ain't nothing celebrity about having to do this and pray for folk and deal with folks' problems and deal with folks' issues and then be sensitive to what God is saying and have stuff wearing on you. You can't even halfway concentrate on what you're doing and your family and your work and can't hardly eat some days because you're worried about. Ain't nothing celebrity about that. And some of y'all have let what you see, some of these bigger preachers, Jakes and stuff who are doing exceptional work, you've let that stuff dilute your idea of what a minister and what a preacher and what a bishop. It is rarely that for most people. Rarely. So now I don't want to be no bishop. Now, there's a lot of jokes. I've been entertaining conversation all week because a lot of y'all serious about a Rehab Atlanta and a Rehab LA. And I'm telling you, I got a lot of people there that are really serious about opening locations. Somebody hit me up yesterday about a Rehab DC. I ain't kidding you. I don't even want that. I don't want that. I don't. That's the work of a bishop. And I have friends. Who are doing the real work of a bishop and apostle, who are establishing churches in the country, out of the country. They're doing real bishop work. And you can't deny that they're a bishop. You can't deny it. Because if you look at the text and look at what they're doing, it's a match. Here's the flip side to the question. These same folks, all of us that are out here doing the work, when you know they out here doing crazy stuff and you still support it, ain't nothing wrong with them, something wrong with you. And the reason why people do it is because I've discovered to this question, we see what we want to see. We give credit to what we want to give credit to. We do. I was laughing because, again, I ain't heard nothing from none of my preaching friends since Monday. Nothing, not a peep. It's quiet. And I know there's a lot of backroom conversation. We need to go get Zed. We need to go talk. No, y'all don't need to come talk to me. I'm good. A little bit of support, encouragement would have been great. But I'm used to being, when you're a trailblazer, you walk through trails alone all the time. That's not a big deal. But understand this. And I'm also well aware of the fact that there are things that I could do. There are lifestyles I could be a part of that my numbers would skyrocket. My views would skyrocket. There are lifestyles. There are things that I could be a part of that would pack my church out right now. I refuse. I refuse to compromise who I am just to have a full building, just to have a lot of views and likes, just to be a church celebrity or church star. That stuff don't mean nothing. Church celebrity ain't jack squat in this world that we live in. And I'm telling you, as somebody who has a professional connection, they don't care nothing about no church star. Unless you Jakes, they could care less, or Billy Graham, they don't care nothing about no church celebrities. Like, y'all don't mean nothing because they look at your credentials as weak anyway. I'm just telling you the conversations that I have in the circles that I have with people about these types of things. So we do that because, again, we see what we want to see. We praise what we want to praise. And some of y'all can see some of this stuff. Some of you can see. Listen, let me say this. I said it Tuesday. I want to say it again. You better stay connected to God's grace. This is for every pastor, preacher, bishop, or just person in general. You better stay connected to God's grace, because when you do not stay connected to his grace, people can even see your flaws on you. And this question is really alluding to that. You can look at some of these preachers and tell what they're struggling with. You can, y'all gonna play with me today? You can look at some of these preachers, pastors, bishops, archbishops, chief apostles, chief whatevers, and you can look at them and clearly see what the flaw is. Like the spirit is all over them, whatever that spirit is. But we turn a blind eye to things oftentimes because either we want to. Here's another one. A lot of people turn a blind eye because it's hard to criticize something you're doing. I'm going to say that again. It's hard to criticize something you're doing. And Elder Missy just has a really good point here. She said you can look at the members of the church and see what the pastor struggles with. That is a powerful statement. Now, rehab might be an anomaly, because at rehab, we got a little bit of everything. And I'm going to tell y'all, I know what's in my church. I ain't struggling with a whole lot of that stuff. Okay? And I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that to come at people, criticize people. I'm not doing that. Y'all just get my point, because Elder Missy has a really good comment there, and it's true. In many cases, you can look at the members and tell what the pastor's issue is. Because oftentimes, when you are trying to correct that stuff, most churches, again, not all, that's exactly right. Most churches, not all. Most churches will have pastors who will not address those issues because they're guilty of them. And then a lot of pastors, bishops, things like that, struggle with being able to correct it in love. Let me tell you why I got a mixed bag at my church. The reason why I got a mixed bag at my church, when I say mixed bag, I mean mixed bag in terms of people's struggles, habits, sexuality, all of that stuff. I got a complete mixed bag at my church. But let me tell you why I got it. The reason why I got it is because I know how to teach truth in love. It's that simple. It goes back to the first question we had today. When you can teach truth in love, people are drawn to love. Even if the message doesn't agree with their lifestyle, I'm going to help y'all. Even if the message doesn't agree with their lifestyle, if you teach it, preach it in love, people will come to it. Don't matter what they're struggling with. That's why you see a little bit of everything at rehab. Exactly why. Because you're not going to walk out of there and feel like I done beat you upside your head. You're not going to walk out of there and feel like I have completely murdered you and you're going to want to go commit suicide when you finish hearing the church, the message. No. I can preach the truth and tell you what the Bible says in truth, but do it in love so that you feel convicted, but you more importantly feel challenged to look at yourself in the mirror, not everybody else, and make a decision. So that's a powerful question. I hope I answered it. I feel like I was kind of all over the place, but it was a great question there. And he was really trying to start something, and he almost started something. All right, let me keep going. I got 10:02. I'm supposed to only do this for 15 more minutes. I'm going to extend this because I got quite a few questions. I got to hurry up. I just got to stop being long-winded. If this is blessing you, I want you to share it now. I want you to share this video right now. All right? I want you to share this video right now. All right? Quickly. All right. Next question. Woo, gosh. How can you successfully break bonds and soul ties with someone that you know isn't good for you? I don't have the time. That's a series. How can you successfully break bonds and soul ties with someone that you know isn't good for you? Great question. I appreciate the honest question here. Let me just say this and give you just a couple of really quick points on this. Number one, if you're in that position, you've got to take a step back and you've got to redraw your boundaries, right? You've got to redraw your boundaries because a lot of times people get caught up in soul ties, bonds with people that they can't break because they have long extended their boundaries. And they've done it for so long that they have no boundaries with this person or these people. See, when you have bonds or soul ties with people, there are no boundaries. There are no boundaries. That person can have you, talk to you, reach you, have access to you at any way, in any time, under any condition that they want to. And so sometimes in order to correct that, you got to correct you. And see, sometimes we are so busy trying to blame people for the soul ties that we have with them or the bonds we have with them, instead of looking at this objectively and saying, what can I do to force the issue or rather correct the issue? And it's easy. Number one, reset your boundaries. You got to reset your boundaries because if people have, again, unlimited access to you, you're going to have a soul tie with them. That's noteworthy. That's noteworthy. You might want to record that. If people have unlimited access to you, you're going to have a soul tie with them. If people have unlimited access with you or to you, you're going to end up in a soul tie with them. Folks should not have unlimited access to you. Folks should not have unlimited access to you. The only person that should have unlimited access to you is your husband or your wife. And even with that, if they have unlimited access with you, you should still have, to an extent, some boundaries. Because where a lot of marriages mess up is that, yeah, you got unlimited access to your husband or your wife, but if you still not taking care of yourself, if you still not, doing the things necessary for you to be the best version of you, then eventually, even in a marriage, you end up in toxicity. Different conversation, different day. But number one, you got to set boundaries. Reset your boundaries. Number two, and this is a big one, you have to go back and revisit how you feel about yourself. Because here's the reality. Many people are caught up in soul ties, bonds that they can't break because they don't really like who they are. They don't really like what they're bringing to the table in their own lives. They're not really satisfied and pleased with their own lives. They're not really satisfied and pleased with the progress they made. So when you don't like your life, it's easy for people to dominate your life. I'm gonna say this again. When you don't like your life, it's easy for people to dominate your life. So you've got to go back and revisit your life and how you feel about you. Again, the sexy term that we throw out there nowadays is self-care. We call it self-care and self-love and all of that stuff. But all that is just a revisitation of how you feel about yourself. So that's number two. Here's the third thing that I would recommend. The third thing that I would recommend to help break a soul tie, break those types of bonds, is to do some studying on something called codependent behavior. Y'all tuned in to church. You ain't never heard a pastor talking to you about codependent behavior. This is what we bring in. Ask me anything. Share this video. Hurry up because I got 23 more minutes of answering questions. You need to study something called codependent behavior. A lot of people are easy victims of soul ties because they are codependent in nature, meaning they have the kind of behavior that makes them codependent on the actions, the behaviors of other people. When you are codependent in nature, it is impossible. No, let me take that back. It is difficult for you to function and stand on your own. And when you end up in a codependent relationship, then your happiness is connected to the happiness of the person that you're with. Your mood is connected to the mood of the person you're with. Your demeanor is connected to the person in the relationship that you're with. Meaning, if they're in a bad mood, you'll find yourself in a bad mood because how you feel about your day will be directly connected to how they feel about their day. If they're having a great day, you'll be having a great day. Why? Because I love Bay and Bay's having a great day. So now I can have a great day because we're on the same page. Y'all call that being on the same page. I call it being codependent. Here's the reality. A healthy relationship where the Bay, boo, whatever you call them, is having a good day or a bad day, ain't going to impact your ability to have a good day. Now, it doesn't mean you don't care about what they're going through. They could be going through something. They could be sick, could experience a death in the family, whatever. They could be going through something. It doesn't mean you don't care about that and that you don't feel it. But when feeling their mood impacts your mood, impacts your ability to function, impacts your ability to focus, impacts your ability to stick to your purpose, impacts your ability to focus on your goals, impacts your ability to focus on your career. When their stuff impacts all of that, that ain't the same page. You codependent. Woo! They asking for a series on Instagram. That's series worthy. Let me get to my notes. Let me pull up a note thing so I can type this in. Y'all want a series on this? And I'm telling you, I don't know if y'all want a series on this because somebody gonna get their feelings hurt. Codependent behavior is more rampant than what people really think it is. When the person you're with impacts everything about you, not only is it a soul tie, not only is it a bond, a really deep bond, you're probably codependent. And if you're in a codependent relationship, it's not going to work. And if it does work, you're going to eventually be miserable. Why? Because your emotions, everything about you is going to be up and down. So those are 3 solid ways you can break soul ties and break bonds with people that are unhealthy. I'm not talking about healthy bonds. A relationship that is healthy will have a healthy bond, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with feeling what your partner feels. It's nothing wrong with if your partner feels sad, you feel that sadness. There's nothing wrong with that, right? And yes, some of my friend here wants us to continue attachment styles too, and I'll really get a series and do a series on that as well, because it all connects. If your attachment style is off and you're codependent, that's a very bad combination, right? If you got one of those attachment styles where you got to be attached to others and you're codependent as well, it's the perfect recipe for a soul tie. And a lot of times we're calling soul ties, we're calling soul ties the love of our lives. And you got to be careful not to confuse the two. Because when somebody's the love of your life and you have that kind of bond, it should be healthy. It should be healthy. If it's not healthy, it's a soul tie. If it's not healthy, you're just codependent. All right. I hope that helped. That was a really good question there. And a doozy, because we could talk about that one for a very long time. All right. Again, got a few more questions. If you've got a question, you can submit your question to info@rehabcc.org. Subject line, ask me anything. I've got 19 more minutes to answer questions. I got to hurry up and move through these. All right. So again, you can submit your question to info@rehabcc.org. Put in the subject line, ask me anything. Again, info@rehabcc. Subject line, ask me anything. All right. This is blessing anybody. I want you to share this video, tag people, tell them to tune in, because this is good. All right. Good question here. Why do some Christians know the word and church traditions, but have no social or life skills? Y'all are really my members. I think y'all taunting me because y'all know the answers to these questions. Y'all my members. Y'all taunting me this morning. Some of y'all are taunting me. Why do some Christians know the word and church traditions, but have no social or life skills? Because they have no balance. It's that simple. A lot of believers know the word and know church tradition, but they don't have no social skill or life balance or life skills because all they know is church and Jesus and God. That's all they know. This is why I hate the song, "As Long as I Got King Jesus, I Don't Need Nobody Else." I hate it. It sounds great. Long as I got King Jesus, long as I got King Jesus, long as I got, don't need nobody else. Then lied on, cheated, talked about. It sounds great. Here's the problem. Having King Jesus is great, but you're going to need people here on earth to help you with things right here on earth. Like, we just get so super deep sometimes, and it ain't that deep. People only know the word and church traditions because they don't live a balanced life. If all you do is go to church, you don't ever go to the mall, you don't ever go on vacation, you don't ever go hang out, go to dinner sometimes with your friends, your family, something. If all you know is Jesus Christ and him crucified, It is impossible for you to have a balanced life. And in God, you can be saved. You can know the Lord. You can claim to be a believer and still have a balanced life. I like flights. I like God. I love him. Take that back. I love him. But I also like flights, boats, and vacations. My whole life is blessed, not just the life you see on Sundays. Right? We say this every single week. My whole life is blessed, not just the spiritual side of me. My whole life is blessed. Like everything about my life is blessed. And if you cannot make that declaration, you're not living a balanced life. If the only time you can say you blessed is when you walk into church on a Sunday, you're not living a balanced life. Because I'm going to tell y'all, and you can say whatever you want to say. I don't care how blessed you are on a Sunday and how good this word makes you feel and how good the Lord makes you feel on a Sunday. If you got to turn around and go to a job you can't stand on Monday, you are not living a balanced life, and you're going to be living a miserable one too. You're going to need a whole lot of God and a whole lot of prayer. If for 5 days out of a week, you work in a job, you're in a career you can't stand, just to be in a church 1-2 times a week to hear about God and to feel good on those 2 days. No, why not make sure that your career is as happy as your spiritual life? Why not make sure you're working in a career that fulfills you the same way God fulfills you? Because if you don't, you're not living a balanced life. And so people struggle with that because they have no desire to have a balanced life. A lot of Christians, and again, there's extremes to this. I'm not talking about all. Just make sure I preface this. Extreme. A lot of Christians don't want to live a balanced life. All they want to know is Jesus. And that's okay. If that's what you want to do, that's okay. But I'm here to tell you, there are extremes to everything. And that's extremity. You can know Jesus and still go on vacation. And when you go, you don't have to wear a jean skirt on the beach. I'm trying not to scream at y'all. When you go to the beach on vacation, you say, you don't have to wear a jean skirt. Ladies, if you go to the beach and you say, and you with your girlfriends, or especially if you with your man or your husband, you can pull out a bathing suit. It can be a thong bikini if that's what you do. You still saved. Your man right there. Y'all don't like this kind of teaching. And this is why the divorce rate in churches is just as high as it is for folk that don't go to church. Because folk get saved and forget they human. Y'all don't want none of this today. Y'all don't want none of this. Did y'all hear what I said? Folks get saved and forget they human. No, you saved, but you also a man and you also a woman. And I'm just telling y'all, if you married, seeing somebody, and y'all at the beach, and you walk on that beach, ladies, with a jean skirt on, or fellas, you out there on the beach, got on sweatpants, tube socks, slides, and a long sleeve shirt. Let me tell y'all a story. This is a funny story. I'm going to tell it really quickly. When I was in Punta Cana and I went parasailing, and there was a couple there. And you could tell that they were in the church. The guy was from Jamaica. The lady was from America. Black couple. The guy was from Jamaica. The lady was from America. And you could tell they were in the church. And the guy might have been a pastor because they were talking loud, which is another thing that knows. I don't know why pastors like to just be letting folk know that. That'd be the last thing I want people to know about me. I want you to like me and get to know me before all of that. Just get to know me and like me as a person. Right. But anyway, different conversations every day. He was talking loud. I'm members of this, blah, blah, blah. When we get back, baby, we need to think about this. And the church needs this, that kind of stuff. So it was clear, he was talking about in the context of being a pastor. So it was them two, it was me. And then there was this couple. No, it was this man and his son and daughter there. And this is a true story. I promise. I can't make this up. So the man and the couple, they were from like Belize or Ecuador or somewhere, had a nice accent. They could speak Spanish and English, nice accent, nice people. We're on the boat riding out to go parasailing. And it was the tale of two different vacations. This man is there with his son and daughter. Son and daughter had to be in their late 20s. Son, there, no shirt on. Me, no shirt, because I'm parasailing. And no shirt on. I got my vest around me so I could catch my with my camera. I could capture that, so I captured that. But no shirt. I'm on vacation. I got on my Euro shorts because I don't wear them long trunks that look like Michigan basketball shorts that's bagging down to the ground. I don't go to the beach in that. I wear Euros. I got a great shape. I'm in shape. So when I go to the beach, that's what I wear. Your pastor, 6-pack, nice Euro cut shorts. They fit well, and I look great in them. I've been told. Okay? So that's that. And then this couple, the pastor, we out. Now, granted, it's like 90 degrees. We on a boat going parasailing, water flying everywhere. The pastor had on a long jean shirt, jean shirt, long sleeve, with some sweatpants on, some of those swim shoes. And his wife, God bless her, had on a jean skirt, a jean shirt that was short sleeve. And every time we were hitting waves and stuff, we were moving. She was grabbing her skirt, trying to put, honey, you on vacation. Where is your bathing suit? Now, I know y'all don't like this kind of teaching. I get it. I'm a different guy. But it's the truth. I'm not making this up, sis. My sister's on here saying, stop saying jean skirt. I'm not making this up. On everything. I'm not making this up. I swear. And I'm like, honey, if you don't take that jeans and dude, if you don't take that jean shirt off, you on vacation. And this is where we err in the church. Folk get saved. They love God. They get married or do whatever, or even if you ain't married, you in a relationship, you get saved, do all this stuff. And then all of a sudden you forget you a man or a woman. And then folk that you married to get bored with you. Listen. You married to me, don't you come up on my boat with no jean skirt. If you got a good shape, let me just move on. I'm going to just stop because my daddy might be watching. I might get corrected today. Are y'all listening to me? That's not God. Wearing a jean skirt on vacation is not God. And I don't care who thinks it is. They can come see me. That's not God, especially if you're on vacation with your spouse. That ain't God. Ain't nothing God about that. And we have done that foolishness for years. And we wonder why, to this question, why believers don't have a balanced life. Why they have no social life, they have no life skills, no none of that. And that's because y'all still walking around on the beach with jean skirts on. Stop. Stop. Y'all stop that. All right, let me move on. You do make Elder Missy on fire today. I believe Elder Missy had a word today from declaration. She's been on it. But she's right. You make the church look crazy. Who young? Let me ask y'all this. Now I'm trying to leave this alone. But let me ask y'all this. Who young do you know? We got a lot of young people at rehab. Because they know I'm not about to get y'all y'all going to the beach. Great. Make sure you pack your jean skirt. Please. I didn't see some of your social media. I know what y'all wear at the beach. And that's your business. I ain't got no problem. You're at the beach. You're on vacation. With your spouse, with your husband, with your boo, what? That got no problem with that. You're at the beach. I wouldn't expect you to be in Miami and it's 95 degrees, it's humid, feels like it's 105, and you out there sweating and got a convocation hat on in the sand. Stop. Nobody. Who do you know under 25 that's living a balanced life, want to be a part of a church that tells them when you go to the beach, put a jean skirt on? Let me just move because I'm about to get in a whole lot of trouble. Because it's some denominations out here that still teach this to this day. And there's no balance in that. My kids, I love my kids. Giselle's birthday is today. But let me tell you what Giselle ain't going to do. Giselle at 9, 10 is not, Giselle at 9 and 10 is not about to be going to school in a jean skirt and it's 90 degrees outside. I said it. Y'all can say what y'all want to say. But Giselle Dior Talley is not about to be in school running around the track in tennis shoes and a jean skirt, and I'm going to call it holiness. Because you ain't got no Bible for that. Well, the Bible says, thou shalt not wear anything that pertained to a man. It wasn't talking about pants. Y'all don't want this. That was not talking about pants. Because if you look at the dress of that day and look at Middle Eastern culture today, a lot of the things, even the outfits you see me sometimes preach on and teach in that are long shirts, right? That was the culture of dress at that time. And many of you would call that a dress. It's not a dress. They were long shirts, right? They were so you would not see, you didn't see pants back in that day because that was a dress. So when the text says, don't wear anything that pertains to a man, it ain't talking about pants. I quit. Let me just move on. Y'all don't want this. And here you are, got your 8-year-old at the field day in May. It's 98 degrees, and you got your 8-year-old out there running in the grass in a jean skirt with tennis shoes on and 50 bows in her hair, and you calling it holiness. And you wonder why kids grow up and they hate church. You wonder why them same kids grow up and they lose. They smashing everything that's walking. Y'all don't like this. You don't like this kind of teaching, but you bring out the hoe and the crazy in your kids, raising them like that. Stop. Teach them balance. I told y'all, and y'all have heard me say this, and hoe is not a gender word. That's male and female. You make your boys wild when you don't let them dress like little boys when they're younger. And I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. Some of the biggest freaks I ever met in my whole life used to wear them doilies and have jean skirts on every single Sunday. And I mean, they was wild. Because a jean skirt ain't gonna stop the hoe in you. A doily ain't gonna stop the hoe in you. Let these kids be a kid. Let me move on. All right, I got 2 more questions. I got to hurry up and get through in 4 minutes. I know y'all mad now. This right here, this is why I'll never be on Convocation, sir, because this stuff is foolishness. It's foolishness. All right. This is a really good question. Because I know some of y'all mad right now. Like, share the video. Come on. I can't open it up for any more questions. I've got 2 more, and then I've got to shut it down. I could do this for hours. The comments are quiet. Are y'all all right? Is that are y'all okay? I know my sister's on here crying, laughing. Are y'all okay? Y'all good? Everybody good? Feel some hearts or something. Let me know you there. I meant what I said. And we ruin the lives of our young people by making them be old before their time. This is what I can't stand about some of these young preachers. And I said it Monday, I'm going to say it again. Some of these young preachers, 19, 20, walk around here talking and dressing like they 45. You 19 and your suit you got on a wide leg suit at 19. A big old country wide leg suit at 19. Walking around here saying all these big words, saying and all of this stuff at 19. Negro, act your age. You can be young and anointed and be a preacher and still be young. The church, we create this dysfunction. We create it. I know a preacher right now, and he annoys the life out of me. He's a great guy, love him. But he annoys the life out of me sometimes because I'm like, dude, act your age. Act your age, man. You my age, and you walk around here acting like you 70. And he's always been this way. Been like this for years. You walk around here acting like you 70, and you my age. Dude, be your age. Because one day you're going to be that age, and then you're going to look back and wish you acted like you were 43. You acted like you were 35. You acted like you were 21. You walking around here 21 acting like he has always been that way. It ain't no compliment when you 21 and they calling you junior bishop. And they mean it not in the perspective of you starting churches and ministry. They mean it because of how you act. That ain't no compliment. It's an insult. Act your age. Whatever your age is, it's okay to act your age, and it's okay to be saved and love God and be your age. All right. So if bishops and pastors, next question, let me move on. I know I'm gonna get in trouble for this clip today. I'm gonna go back and watch this and laugh at myself. I meant everything I said though about them jean skirts. I meant it. Some of y'all need to throw them jean skirts in the trash when it comes to vacation time. Now, if you're gonna wear to church, it's fine. Yeah, because look, they're polar opposites to all of this. That don't mean. Well, let me just leave it alone. So if bishops and pastors aren't perfect, which we know they are not, do we quit being under their leadership because they aren't? At what point does the congregation say, all right, I'm gonna head out? That's a great question. And I think you have to seek God for the answer to that. All right. You have to seek God for the answer to that. Because I will say this. I want to say this in all sincerity. We know pastors and bishops or whoever, whatever your title are, church leaders in general, just aren't perfect. We know that. But your decision to leave a ministry has to definitely be a God decision, because I'll tell you, in the same vein, right? We talk about pastors and bishops and all this stuff being flawed and church leaders being flawed. In the same vein, oftentimes your very flawed church leaders are also very gifted, anointed people. And so I counseled a couple one time who was under a ministry that was thinking about the same question. You know, do we stay? Do we go? What guidance did you give me? And here's the easy answer. The answer to that question is to pay attention to the contrition and the humility of that leader. Because it's one thing to have a problem or a challenge or an issue or a flaw, and you out here parading it in front of folk, and you could care less what people think, and you just putting it all out there. Because see, a lot of these leaders have zero discretion. I said this Monday. A lot of these leaders have zero discretion. If you know you got problems, why are you out here flaunting it? Why are you out here putting it all in folks' face? Why are you doing that? You have no discretion, no care about how your influence impacts other people, right? So if you under a leader that's doing that, that's just putting it out there, take me or leave me kind of leader, yeah, you probably need to hit the door and go and head out, right? Because flaunting it says that not only do you not care about what your people think, flaunting it says that you are willing to abuse the grace of God. I'm going to say it again. That was another whole word. When people, not just leaders, when people flaunt their flaws, they are saying that they not only care what people think, they're also saying that they're willing to abuse God's grace. That his grace ain't no big deal. And let me tell you something. When you get to that place where your issue and your challenge is bigger than what people think, you in hot water. Because eventually that grace, every little ounce of grace that you had is going to be ripped off of you. And you're going to end up being one of those people that's completely exposed. So my advice to that couple was simple. If they're doing all of that, leave. But if you got a leader who walks in humility, who walks in candid honesty, who says to y'all, listen, your pastor ain't perfect. Your pastor ain't, and walks in that and leads in that way and leads in that honesty and grace, you probably under a stand-up person. You're probably being taught by a stand-up person. And here's what I truly believe. Those types of leaders, if they ever fall, yeah, it's going to hurt. Yeah, it's going to be, might be a little fallout. It might be people saying whatever, or, you know, it might make news, whatever. That's fine. But the way people treat your fall will be a reflection of how you handled yourself when you were standing. I'm going to say this again. The way people will treat a church leader's fall will be a reflection of how they handled themselves when they were standing. If you were arrogant when you were standing, when you fall, people are going to be arrogant with you. When you walked around like you were perfect in a goody two shoes when you were standing, when you fall, people going to let you, they going to hand it to you. I know some preachers now that will never recover from the reputation that they have because they had a reputation of being arrogant before they got exposed. They had a reputation of being stuck up. They had a reputation of being standoffish. When they fail, people went in. You can't blame them. You gave them every right to because of how you carried yourself before you fail. But here's what I also discovered. I've also seen other preachers, pastors, leaders, whatever, leaders in general, because this ain't just a church issue. This is even a business issue. You can be a leader in business and fall. Look at the Urban Meyer situation that's been all over. You can be a leader in business and fall. When you have carried yourself humbly and in humility, when you fall, people will be disappointed. They'll be disappointed. You won't be able to retain everybody. You won't be able to keep everybody. Some people want to go do something different. That's fine. But let me tell you something. If you have carried yourself in humility, grace, honesty, and sincerity before the people, yeah, people are going to be disappointed. But guess what? You can recover. You can recover. And that's why I have made it no secret. If Pastor Zed Talley III, Dr. Zed, whatever y'all call me, Big Bro Zed, whatever, if I ever fall, I had no doubt I could recover. Because I ain't never sat up in front of nobody and made it like I had it all together, ever, and never will. And doesn't hurt that I pastor a church called Rehab and we love everybody. So when you carry yourself with grace, you get grace in return. When you carry yourself in love and humility, you get love and humility in return. And that's why a lot of pastors can't rebound. So I hope I answered that question. It should be one of those two things. All right, y'all, I got one more question and then I'm good. All right. I hope this is blessing y'all. And I've run a little bit over, but I'm going to hurry up here and answer this question and then we will go. Final question is this. If I have a challenge that people know about, how do you go to church and overcome it when people know about it? If I have a challenge that people know about, how do you go to church to overcome it if people know about it? If I have a challenge that people know about, how do you go to church and overcome the challenge if people know about it? This is a really good question. It's a really easy answer, though. The way you do it is you come to church and you don't worry about people. This is reality. That same church you're going to, whether it's Rehab or any other church, is so you will be surrounded by people who have the same, if not greater challenges than you have. And this is the one reason why, this is one of the big reasons why people don't come to church, right? Forget what people do to people. I get that. But one reason why people struggle with coming to church with their problems is because they really have this ingrained mentality. How do I come to church when people know what I'm dealing with? And how can I sit in here in church as if church is the holy grail of perfection? And you just surrounded by all this. Let me tell you something. You're not. You're surrounded by a whole lot of crazy people. You're surrounded by a whole bunch of liars, thieves, hoes, pimps. They all in the building. And the only difference between them and you is that they come more often than you. And they probably got on nice suits, know how to shout, know a couple of scriptures. But they be struggling with the same stuff you're struggling with. A lot of them be doing the same, if not worse, stuff than what you're doing. So you come and you let your coming be a focus on God. And that's it. Now, where this could be problematic is if you do go to a church where you are surrounded by a lot of judgmental people. And I haven't had to get on Rehab a lot about this. I will give Rehab credit because, we just really set the tone when Rehab started. And that is to say, and I'm very clear, when people walk in this church, y'all stop staring people up and down. Stop looking at them. Stop looking at them from their feet to their head, how they dress, how they walk. Stop. What you staring at folks for? I can't stand it. Stop staring at people. Okay, so stop staring at people when they walk in, because this place is called Rehab. And because it's called Rehab, you're going to see all kinds of people that walk in here. Number one. Number two, the other reason why you don't got no business looking at other folks is because you got enough problems of yourself on your own. You have enough problems of your own to not be focused on who walking in the building, what problems they got when they walk in, how they look when they walk in, what you know about them. Oh, I know such. I went to school with her. She used to do this. I went to school with him. He used to. Okay. And they went to school with you and know what you used to do. So it's a two-way street. What you staring for? Stop staring at people when they walk in. Stop looking people up and down when they walk in, and understand that we all in church for the same reason, and that is to be better. We're all in church for the same reason, and that is to be better people, to grow, to develop, to mature, to become everything that we're supposed to be. So that's a really easy answer to that question. Again, I get the question because that question is really rooted in just how the church, a lot of times, not the church. Let me take the church out of this because this ain't the church's fault. How people in church have ran people away from church so bad, just staring at them, looking them up and down, or just judging them for how they look and how they dress and or what they know about them. Stop. We all got problems. Your focus when you come to church needs to be on that preacher, what that preacher is saying, and on getting a revelation from that word from God so that you can grow, develop, and be everything that you can be. But your focus should never be on people. It should never be on what people think. It should never be on what people know. It should never be on what people, how they judging you. It should, because I'm telling you, most of the folk that's judging you have done the same things, if not worse. All right. I'm done, y'all. I didn't get a lot of questions. We got a lot of really good questions, though, but not a ton of questions. But I really appreciate this opportunity. Did this bless anybody? Did it? Did it bless anybody? I want you to fill it up with hearts if it did. We're getting ready to pray. If this blessed anybody, I want you to say something. Fill it up with hearts. Say amen. Do something. We're getting ready to pray because this has been a very powerful. I love doing Ask Me Anything because, again, it's a candid conversation. And these conversations challenge you to grow. They challenge what you consider to be Bible versus what is tradition and what you've been taught, right? Because sometimes what you've been taught and tradition ain't always Bible. It's not always the same. So it challenges those things. And I love these candid conversations because they force you to grow. I'm a researcher. I'm an academic. I'm an educator. I want to challenge you to grow. I want you to grow. I don't want you to just believe it because I said it. I want you to do the research. I want you to understand that growth is in researching and asking questions. And I love doing these sessions because it challenges us. It doesn't condemn us, but it really challenges us to be better. Listen, I want to pray with you. You got a prayer request? I want you to type your prayer request on the screen right now. You got something you want me to pray for? Every single morning, 4:15 in the morning, I get up, I pray over your prayer request, and I want you to know I will be doing that. This was a very hard week to get up. I won't lie. Having to look after Giselle for the first couple of days, every 3 hours, including overnight. Pastor did not get a lot of sleep at all this week, but we should be back on regular schedule this week for the most part, right around Wednesday or Thursday of this week when they hopefully can return to school. And so I want you to type in your prayer request. I want you to know 4:15 in the morning, I get up, I pray over your request, and whatever it is that you're praying, have a need for, I want you to type it in the comments now. Come on, I'm giving you 45 seconds. Type in your prayer request. I want to pray for you. I want to pray for your family. I want to pray for your situation. I want to pray for your condition, that God will continue to strengthen you, touch you, and bless you in a tremendous, tremendous way. All right, come on. I see some prayer requests coming. Good. I would like to pray for overcoming inner struggles and mental health. Absolutely. I'm praying for that. Thank you so much for that very honest prayer request. I saw pastor and family. I appreciate that. My son and all of our Black sons. Absolutely. Elder Misty, we're praying for that. Pray for me. I'm having surgery on Wednesday. Praying for that. Minister Herbert, thank you so much for that. Sister Joyce, please pray for me, my daughter, family, pastor and family, and me. Absolutely doing that. So good to see our older seasoned saints and members last Sunday. Hate I couldn't be there with them face to face. Got word of Giselle's test literally an hour before the event, but just grateful to have the opportunity and fellowship with them and really miss you all. Come on, y'all, quickly. If you got a prayer request, I want you to type it in the comments quickly. Maybe your prayer request is too personal. If it is, you can email your prayer request to info@rehabcc.org. Email it to info@rehabcc.org. Put in the subject line prayer request, and we will answer your prayer. I'm sorry, not answer your prayer. We will pray over your prayer requests. Mental health and spiritual growth. Absolutely praying for that. Thank you so much for typing that in. All right. Mental health, spiritual growth, praying for that. Please pray for me and my family. Absolutely, Mother Brenda. Again, good to see you on Sunday. Any more prayer requests? Really quickly, I want you to do that. If you're watching the replay, feel free to type in your prayer requests now. I always go back and watch the replays of our broadcast at some point during the week as I'm working out or working or doing other things. And always like to see your prayer requests and want you to know that I'm praying for you. All right. Listen, y'all, let's pray. As a sign and symbol of faith, I want you to connect, clasp your hands like this as a sign and symbol of faith. I want to pray with you. Clasp your hands like this as a sign and symbol of faith. We're getting ready to touch and agree right now. And I want you to know every morning, 4:15, I'm up, I'm praying for you, praying for your situation, and praying for your circumstance. Clasp your hands like this as if we are touching and holding hands. And let's pray now. You ready? Let's do it. Father, in Jesus' name, I thank you today for this awesome session. Thank you for this opportunity to hear the questions, the concerns of your people. I pray, God, that you were glorified in this session, that something was said that has encouraged your people, that has challenged your people, that has convicted your people to be everything you called them to be and more. I pray, God, that this session will open our eyes to focus more on you and less of anything else. To focus more on you and less on tradition, less on custom, less on opinion, so that we might be whole and entire and be everything that you challenged us to be and more. I pray now, God, right now, for every prayer request that's been typed in the comments, every prayer request that's been emailed to our email address, that you would answer the prayers of your people, that you would make ways as only you can. I thank you, God, because this week, we believe this week to be a week filled with miracles, a week filled with open doors, made ways, met needs, that you're going to answer the prayers of your people as only you can. Heal bodies like you can heal. Make ways like only you can make them. Open doors as only you can open. Shut down doors and opportunities as only you can close them down. God, whatever it is that your people desire, I lift these requests up to you. And I ask you to answer those prayers because you are the way maker. You are the miracle worker. You are the promise keeper. You're the God above everything else in our lives. And we thank you for being who you are. Now, God, I ask now that you would let this week be a week filled with victory for your people, a week filled with protection for your people, that you would cover us and shield us from all hurt, danger, disease, anything that might come our way, so that we might continue to do the work that you've called us to do. We thank you for these things and we count them done. In Jesus' name, amen. Do me a favor, type in the comments quickly, it is so. If you prayed that prayer of faith, I want you to type in the comments right now. It is so. It is so. Quickly. It is so. It is so. Type it in the comments right now. It is so. If you prayed that prayer of faith, type it in the comments now. It is so. I want you to know I'm praying for your children. Absolutely. Sister John, I'm praying for your children. I'm praying for school systems. I'm praying for health, well-being, your mind, your mental health, your emotional health, your financial health, your spiritual health. I'm praying for all of these things. I want you to know that God is going to cover you. God's going to protect you. He's going to keep you. Listen, as you're typing, it is so. If anybody wants to be saved, if anybody wants to dedicate their life to Christ, if anybody wants to give their life to Christ, I want you to stop what you're doing right now. Romans 10:9 tells us this, that if we confess with our mouths and believe with our hearts that Jesus Christ is who he is and did what he did for us, we are saved. Listen, you are the church. Doesn't matter what the pandemic did to the church. It doesn't matter that you have to go to churches that are open now with masks on your face, whatever. It doesn't matter. You're the church. As long as you've got a confession, the church is always going to live. And your confession is built on Romans 10:9. That says again, that if you believe, confess with your mouth, believe with your heart that Jesus Christ lived, died, rose again for your sins, you are saved. It's that simple. Don't matter where you've been. Doesn't matter where you came from. Does not matter what you're doing right now. That confession is even greater than your flaws. If you want to be saved, I want you to stop what you're doing. Pull the car over. Put the bacon at brunch down. If you're sitting on the beach, I want you to sit up in your chair and I want you to repeat this prayer of faith with me. Because on this awesome Ask Me Anything Sunday, God wants to save you right now. All right. If you want to be saved, I want you to repeat this prayer of faith with me. Say it with me. I'm a sinner. I'm not perfect. I have some flaws. I even have some failures. But I do believe that Jesus Christ was born of a virgin. lived on this earth just like I'm living. He suffered, bled, and died on the cross. But 3 days later, rose again for my sins. Because he lives, I can live, and I am saved. My friends, if you prayed that prayer of faith, I want to welcome you to the royal family of Jesus Christ. You have made one of the greatest decisions of your life in giving your life back to Christ. Now, this is what I need you to do. I need you to find you a church home somewhere. I don't care where you go. I just have one rule, and that is make sure it is a Bible teaching, Bible preaching ministry that teaches it in a way that you can apply it to your life. Go find that church, be a part of that church, put your hand in that preacher's hand, whether virtually or face to face, be a part of that church, be a member of that church, be active in that ministry, and go continue to grow in the grace of God. Doesn't matter where you're watching. We have people tuned in from everywhere. Doesn't matter where you're watching. Find you a church home where you can grow and develop. Now that you've given your life over to Christ, it's important that you surround yourself with other believers. Face to face, virtually, doesn't matter. Other believers where you can continue to grow in grace. Maybe you listen to this message, this broadcast, and you want to be a part of the Rehab Christian Center. Just as I said Monday on my live, we continue to have people join our ministry, even in this virtual environment. If you want to be a part of our ministry, all you have to do is just type in the comments, membership, and somebody would reach out to you. I'd be more than happy to be your pastor, more than happy to walk alongside you in this journey of faith that you're walking in right now. And would love to be able to call you a member, and love to be able to call myself your pastor. Just simply type in the comments, membership, and one of our moderators will reach out to you, and we would love to get some additional information from you and welcome you, not to the largest church on the planet, not the biggest church on the planet, but by far the nicest church on the planet, the Rehab Christian Center, which is indeed the perfect place for imperfect people. All right. So just simply type in membership, hashtag membership, and somebody will get some information from you, and we would love to welcome you in. Listen, y'all, let me challenge you to give. I want to challenge you to give. If this message, this ministry has been a blessing to you, this broadcast has been a blessing to you today, I want to challenge you to give. I want to thank all of you that continue to be consistent, continuous supporters of our ministry, even in this virtual environment. As we mentioned Monday, we've got some changes coming as a growing hybrid ministry, hybrid church. But we will still continue to be able to deliver God's word and be able to share and grow in the faith of God. And so I want to challenge all of you to give today. If this message, if this ministry has blessed you, you can give via CashAPP, $REHABCCGIVE. That's $REHABCCGIVE. You can give on our website by visiting www.rehabcc.org. That's www.rehabcc.org, and simply choose online giving. Or you can text REHABWORKS to 88202. Text REHABWORKS to 88202 and right to your cell phone. You'll see a prompt. Click on that link and you can give right from your cell phone, right from where you are. Again, you can give by texting REHABWORKS to 88202. That's texting REHABWORKS to 88202 by visiting our website, www.rehabcc.org, and simply choose online giving. Again, www.rehabcc.org, and choose online giving, or via CashAPP at $REHABCCGIVE. That's $REHABCCGIVE. And right to your cell phone, or right from your cell phone, you can give in either one of these three ways. And we want you to know that you'll be blessed for it. Remember your tithes, give your tithes, sow an offering seed today, and watch God be a blessing to you. How? Good measure, pressed down, shaking together, running over. I'm here to tell you, he will do it. I'm a living witness. I ain't just a pastor and a preacher. I'm a giver. I believe in giving, and God always meets my needs because I remember and honor him. So I want to challenge you today to give and watch God bless you in a tremendous way. Listen, y'all, I love y'all. I hope this message, this broadcast has been a blessing to you today. I love Ask Me Anything. I promise you, I could probably do this every single week and it wouldn't bother me at all. I absolutely love teaching in a practical way that people understand, that's directly connected to God's word. It's just something I enjoy doing. If this message, this broadcast has been a blessing, like this video, share this video, and then make plans to see us this Tuesday at 7:08 p.m. for our virtual life study. This Tuesday at 7:08 p.m. for our virtual life study. I'm excited to be with you and have an exciting message to teach and share with you, and cannot wait to see you this Tuesday at 7:08 p.m. For our virtual life study. Listen, I love you guys. I'm praying for you. I'm rooting for you. I want you to have a fantastic week. Continue to pray for me. I'm going to say openly to all of our members that have sent me videos this week. It was a very rough week with everything I had going on in my house. Very, very rough week. I want to just thank all of you openly for all of the videos that I received for Pastoral Appreciation Month. It has really been a blessing to lead all of you and to serve you. And those videos were just so very nice and kind. So many kind words and expressions that came my way this week. And I want to thank all of you for sharing those expressions with me and just bearing with Pastor, because I know Pastor's crazy and I'm a lot to handle sometimes, but I appreciate y'all. And I want you to know that I am very appreciative of that. And thank you so much. All right, listen, I love you guys. I'm praying for you. I want you to have a fantastic week. Peace and blessings.
Thank you for watching the Rehab Christian Center live experience. If this broadcast has been a blessing to you and you would like to be a blessing to our leader, Dr. Zeb Talley III, you can sow a seed into his ministry by CashAPP at $Pastor ZT3. It is our prayer that this message of hope encouraged, enlightened, and empowered you to be better. Please tune in Tuesday at 7:08 p.m. for our life study experience. And as always, be blessed and have a wonderful week.